Hello, everybody, and welcome to another delightful session here at Geek Therapeutics. I am Renee Ritchie, your handy dandy guest GM, and we have a fantastic cohort of folks here tonight playing Punching Nazis, which is a genre with the Morris Cinematic Gaming System, which is now out in DriveThruRPG. I have run some games specifically with the system before, but that was before it was published. And now it is actually out and available for folks to get it at home. I'm full disclosure, I am one of the writers on this project. But before we dive in too much today, I want to just do a quick round of introductions around the table for all of our lovely players and who they'll be playing tonight.
Hello, pleasure to see you. My name is Robert Bernhardt. I will be playing the part of Basil Everton Crowley. Pleasure to meet you.
All right. Who's next?
I can go next. Hello, everybody. My name's Eve Altemeyer, and tonight I will be playing Constance Ames, Connie to her friends, a super soldier and secret agent, and British.
Typecasting.
It's not an accent, this is my voice.
All right, and who's next?
I'm Carolyn Francis, and tonight I will be playing Michelle Rose, a widow during the occupation.
I'll just go. My name is Maura, and I'm going to be playing Magda Kaminsky. So I am going to be playing a tailor that works at the Moulin Rouge.
I'm Kat. I'm playing Gunda Peterson, or Gun, and I am a journalist.
So tonight, all of our lovely players will be out at a night at the Moulin Rouge in 1943. Paris is fully and firmly occupied by the German forces in World War II, overrun with Nazis. And the Moulin Rouge, which is basically an institution within Paris for entertainment, is in fact still standing. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Moulin Rouge from, well, the movie of the same name back when I was in when I was young. The the Moulin Rouge itself stayed in business for quite some time, even though it had a failed turn specifically as a more traditional theater. It continued its history as a cabaret and also at this particular time a brothel. Prostitution was actually very heavy within Paris, specifically in World War II, and it wasn't until afterwards that there was a crackdown and prostitution was criminalized. So for a quick note for anybody watching this evening, sex work will be part of the content feature because sex work is work. And that is the last argument I will have about that. And before we dive in specifically for the event, I want to do a little exercise with all of our players called Remember When. So this is an exercise where all of the various folks here at the table get a chance to kind of get into their character skin and how they think and talk about a shared experience that they have all had, specifically not only in their time with the Order of Victory, which is the organization that keeps all of these agents working specifically to fight the threat of Nazi Germany, both mundane and magical, but just even as people. These agents have been keeping an eye on the Moulin Rouge for about a month or two, which has given them some time to kind of recognize each other, maybe even get to know each other. And maybe there was that one night where somebody got a little rowdy at the bar and a fight may have started. So who started the fight?
Guys, remember when I kind of drank too much that night and that guy was being a huge jerk, would not take no for an answer when I told him I wasn't interested, and I straight up punched him in the jaw.
Oh, I remember
Yes.
that very well. I mean, as security personnel at the Moulin Rouge, that's my current cover, I had to deal with both protagonists in the situation, which I feel we managed to resolve without too much disruption to
I was
everybody's evening.
I
Yes,
was
I
so
remember.
impressed. I was so impressed. I was taking bets. I put down 20 quid on you. Um, I will say your left hook after the right was not that impressive, but still, thank you for earning me a little extra.
Same
I
time.
remember afterwards where Constance had to keep you two apart as I was stitching first one bunch of knuckles and then the other bunch of knuckles so that, I could get you back out on the streets and out of the place. I'm like, I don't know how many bandages I had to go through because you kept tearing the stitches. You guys were both so rowdy.
Yeah, I think I remember a few of your attire to be needing amending. So kind of remember that bit. Is your jacket okay?
It is now. Yeah, thanks for the fix. My knuckles are still a bit scarred up. Oops. But I think he got the message. I hope.
Oh,
Haven't seen him
yes.
around.
His
Thank you,
jacket was
Connie.
way worse than
I
yours.
don't think you'll be seeing him around anymore. As a high-paying customer, I couldn't do very much on the occasion. But don't concern yourself too much.
Did you happen to drink the egg shake that I made you for the next morning? You know, the one that's just 5 eggs in a glass? Really good for hangovers. I use it so much for myself after I have a nice little night on the town.
That's what that was? Oh God.
It was the one
Excuse
that
me.
smelled bad.
I
Yeah,
always heard that one should try a little hair of the dog. But I don't drink, so I actually wouldn't know.
I'm
so
actually a little
straight-laced.
wondering about the laundry from that night and all the bandages that I had to send over to you, Magda. And they came back slightly pink.
That
But I
makes
never
sense.
got the story as to why my white bandages end up slightly pink after washing that night. Did that have anything to do with all of this stuff going on? I don't know.
I can only assume it was the blood and how it was not cleaned properly. And if you keep it unattended for a period of time, it's not gonna look very good, especially for white. So
That's why I sent it for cleaning.
yes, no, but if they don't have the right materials, that's still the stain is a stain.
Oh,
gonna
are
look-
you saying that? Dang it, they sent me something. It wasn't cotton. I always ask for cotton bandages because those, oh man.
Do you
I remember-
remember when
Why?
I headbutted him in the nose and I'm pretty sure I broke it? Maybe, I don't know. You had to bandage that up.
Oh,
God,
yeah,
it was gushing.
it was broken, but he was struggling so much and he just wanted to leave. So I really don't think that it ever ended up straight after that. I mean, he didn't give me time.
Wait,
Don't
where
worry
did
about
you
a thing.
go?
Just put a.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Where did you go to get the laundry done? Did you
Well,
get it
I
for
just
me?
sent it out with the costumes.
Okay.
Perhaps
Oh.
somebody slipped a red sock into the wash.
You do have some red lingerie, obviously. Maybe that could have tinted your bandages.
I don't
That
see
would
what the
probably
fuss is
make-
about. Pink looks so great on bandages. I mean, imagine that poor bloke that you headbutted. Remember, he looked so stricken with injury. I mean, I bet even he would look better with some pink on him.
I'll put them aside for that type then.
I
And
rather
on
think
that
he ended up with
note,
a fair amount of black and blue.
I think I got what I needed from all y'all. So that kind of gives you an idea of some of the conversations and, kind of the rapport that y'all have in character. I love it. Y'all just jumped right in. That's so great. Thank you so much. And now the sun sets on Paris in 1943. And there's a bit of buzz in the neighborhood. Specifically, that there is a relatively high-ranking commander coming into Paris for a recreational visit, as they call it in the official paperwork. It's not even any sort of clandestine intelligence, because everyone's talking about it. He's not necessarily doing anything to not call attention to himself. And for anybody who's just even in the neighborhood, just, picking up supplies for, additional stitching that needs to be done for the costumes, drinking in the nearby bars where all the artists and degenerates hang out. It's fairly common knowledge that Renee, who did not think of a name for this particular stock character ahead of time because she had a very busy day, needs to look up a surname real quick.
My go-to is Greg.
Unfortunately, for obvious reasons, this is not one that can work very well. Richter Schmidt. It is such a common name, but everybody knows this particular commander. He's been talking about some of his rather shocking victories in the southern end of the country, specifically with some of the, oh goodness. There are some that say that he has strange creatures on his side that go with him in battle. And he's brought a passel of young recruits with him to Paris this time around. I mean, no one's actually seen them out and about just yet, but maybe they just got in. So it's the day itself has been pretty quiet. Not costuming is the normal amounts of sequins and popped seams and lacing and ribbon and all of that, and feathers. Oh goodness, the feathers. There's a lot of cabaret show girls who need lots and lots of feathers. That said, why don't you go ahead and make a check for me that is mind plus notice.
Mind plus notice?
Yeah, that is specifically for Magda. So basically, for this system, it's a very simple attribute plus skill. So you add those two together and that is your action pool. And then you roll 2 6-sided die and add that to your action pool to get your total.
So my mind would be 4. Notice
is under skills.
Yes. Okay, and then 2d6.
Yes.
sorry, math. 8 plus 6, that is,
14.
yes, that is my score.
All right. So in this particular case, normally we give you a difficulty, but for this one, I wanted to kind of keep it blind. It's kind of it was kind of I would call it a standard difficulty, and you've made that. So one of the things that you noticed is all of your silver findings and beads and what have you are missing, specifically the silver ones.
Okay. So I'm obviously fixing a very fancy fan with a bunch of feathers all over the place, and I am looking for it. What else do I notice besides on my silver? Like nothing of it all. Like
It's normally you know exactly where it is. You because of because of your training as a tailor, and because you don't like surprises due to some very unfortunate events in your past, you like to know exactly where everything is.
okay, so I'm totally pacing. I'm like pacing back and forth. Can I? Is if one of the girls is passing by, can I just ask them really quickly? Like, has anybody come into my area and like been snooping?
So one of the showgirls specifically passes by, and I'm going to go ahead and do a quick roll on my end using the handy dandy dice spot I have. She kind of looks around, and then she kind of waves you over into a corner. It's very, very trying to, be, kind of keep it quiet.
Okay, hi.
So,
What?
So I don't want to worry you, but the owners earlier this morning decided that they were going to remove all of the silver from the costumes, specifically for tonight. Don't ask me why, but they say there's something with the young commander in town that he doesn't like it.
Doesn't like the silver.
Oui, real silver.
The owners.
The owner specifically said that they are entertaining a special guest tonight who doesn't like silver.
Okay, and I I nod her and be like, thank you, and I go off and find the owners if possible.
So the owners of the Moulin Rouge at this particular stage, they are very, very busy. But there's a secretary who lets you know that it's the silver items in your costuming department will absolutely be returned once these guests have left. Everything is safely everything is in the safe. We promise you it is. We apologize for not telling you in advance. This is. I know you like these things, but this is also a bit of a surprise on our end as well.
Yes, and I understand that's a surprise. It's just information would be valuable when it's not a surprise. It could have been not a surprise on my end.
I know, and we are so very sorry about that. We'll have everything back to you in the morning because this guest, as far as I understand, he's just here tonight. That said, depending on how things go, we might need you to lock up the silver and not use them for specific costumes moving forward. We understand sometimes they look nicer, but it's just, we have very special guests we need to keep in mind.
Is this the only special guest?
That we know of for now. It's a very strange request, but they're paying very good money.
Fine. Where would this special guest be? then?
They will be coming in later tonight. They will be in one of the boxes that we have on the right side of the cabaret stage.
Right side.
Yes.
Okay. And do you know the box in particular? So I can know that the silver must
Unfortunately,
not be there.
so we're going to make sure that none of the individuals who have anything remotely silver looking in their costumes stay away from box 5.
Good to know. Box 5, everything silver must go.
We will make sure, at least from the wait staff end, that is handled.
Has he requested any of the girls in particular?
Not yet.
So no time to prepare for any of the girls. Good thing, good to know. Love the not knowing.
So
This is as soon as I know. This is you got the information as soon as we did. We are scrambling just as much as you are. We're so sorry.
Okay.
I enter the scene and I see Magna talking to the owner, and I walk up and say, "So, what's the 411? I hear that there's a special guest tonight. Can you tell me more about that?"
The owners specifically look over at the journalist who's come in, who is in fact a regular right now, but at the same time is still the press. The owners just go stone-faced and say, "No comment."
Can I quote you on that?
Yes, you can.
Oh, I will.
Can I be stationed?
Absolutely. Any of the characters who want to come in, because it's relatively early in the evening, you can absolutely be stationed nearby. You can absolutely overhear these conversations. Please interact with each other. Yes.
Connie, then I was standing by the door to the office, and I've overheard this conversation. I would ask the secretary politely, have security arrangements been made already for box 5? If not, I would be very happy to volunteer.
We were actually just about to ask you specifically if you could keep a special eye on box 5 this evening.
Of course. It would be a pleasure.
Box 5. So, is there any more room in that box?
That box is reserved for the evening in its entirety.
So, how much would it cost to get in there?
Let me see if I understand this correctly, Miss Peterson.
Call me Gun.
Miss Peterson, you want to bribe your way into the private box of a private guest. You must understand that is not the policy of the Moulin Rouge. We value our guests' privacy.
Basil's going to walk in, overhearing this from outside the door, and
I never said I wouldn't keep it private.
He's gonna immediately kind of step in between Gunda and the owner, and he's gonna say, hi Gunda. Hey, I thought why'd you run away from the party? Come on this way. Come on, we got to get started, ready for the evening, right?
What about box 4? Is that one open?
Box 4 is also reserved. You can take box 8, which is directly across.
Yeah, I'll take that one. That sounds good. I think I am also a special guest who should get a special box.
Go ahead and roll heart plus convince for me. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a difficulty of 20. And for those of you who want to help, there is a mechanic called Friend in Need. So for every 5 you have in your action pool, you can add +1 to Gunda's roll.
Okay. So
that's going to be heart plus convince.
Okay, so I've got 5 in heart and 5 in convince. So that's 10.
So you start with a 10.
Okay.
You'll need to reach a 20 with your die rolls. Now, is anybody going to help? Is anybody going to help Gun out on this one?
I'll
do-
go ahead.
Yes.
I don't have 5 in heart, and I don't have convince as a skill, so I don't think I can, but I would.
Unfortunately, no.
I've got 5 in heart. I'm a little bit gregarious and magnetic, and I'm just gonna go ahead and support Gunda
So
by
what's your convince skill?
convince. That would be in heart. I don't have convince skill. I don't think. Oh, I have it too. I do.
Yes.
Yay.
So you can add +1 to Gunda's action pool.
Is
Cool.
it? Can I also assist?
Are you so you're basically trying to convince the owners to make sure that Gunda has special treatment and gets box 8?
Yeah. So when that happens, I just bring Gunda you're a tiger that you requested, and like I basically like present Gun something.
Okay. So you can also add +1. So you have a +1 from Basil, you have a +1 from Magda. So Gunda, that puts you at a 12. Michelle, would you like to be part of this scene as well?
I'm looking, I do not have a heart of 5 though.
But so it's basically your heart plus your convince. If that's 5 or more, you can add +1. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so you can actually, so you have a heart of,
my
yes,
heart
so
is
you have-
scored convinces 2, so then I can add a
so you
+1
can add
for
1.
her.
You can add +1.
Okay.
Constance, are you
can't
back in this?
anything.
I'm sorry.
I can't add anything.
Oh, that's right. All right. So we have 1. So you have your total pool is 13.
Okay.
And so now you roll 2 6-sided dice and add that to that 13. Add the result to that 13. So you need to get a 7 or higher and not roll snake eyes.
Okay. Well, I got a 6 and a 3 for 9.
Yep, that'll
So-
do it.
Awesome.
All right.
So with the ever charming company of the beautiful Belgian widow and the British playboy Basil Everton, and of course additional support from members of the staff, the owner sighs and says, "Yes, box 8 will be yours. It will include bottle service. We'll make sure you're well taken care of."
And
None of that.
I'll make sure your review is well taken care of.
I'll put in a good word to Daddy. Oh, and by the way, don't load it up with that squill. Can you, the top shelf kind? Can you load it up with that, please? Oh, fine. Never mind.
You're gonna join me this evening?
You realize, Monsieur, we are the land of champagne. Actual champagne, not just sparkling grape juice.
Oh, delightful. I have high expectations then. Now, I'm going to go back to the room. I'm going to enjoy myself. See you then.
Allow us to escort you to your box.
I
mademoiselle.
will see to that, if you wish.
Please, by all means, the show will be starting soon.
Please follow me.
And now you have some time to speak amongst yourselves and kind of get a feel for what's going on.
So, what can you tell me about the special guest? Do you know anything, Connie?
I do not. I'm curious as to the absence of silver being a requirement. Perhaps our colleagues who are versed in magical arts would have some insight into why that might be the case.
It's certainly odd.
It's very strange, although I noticed that they've overlooked the needles in my kit. So I don't think I'm going to bring that up.
Maybe he just really likes gold. And, silver is like not gold, so
But did they ask for gold on the costumes in place of the silver?
No. So far, it's just been replacement. None replacement at all. It's just taking away of the silver. They completely took everything, all of the silver that I have for the costuming.
Maybe he just has like a really bad like allergic reaction to silver. That probably is it.
Do I have any
Basil?
like?
You're on mute. Basil. Basil, if you're saying anything, you are currently on mute,
Oh,
but I would like
I apologize.
I would like you to roll mind plus knowledge for me.
Understood. Mind plus knowledge. Therefore,
Yes.
my mind is a level of 5, and my knowledge is a level of 3, a specialization into the occult. Very
Indeed,
well then.
that's why you get to make this roll. Your difficulty will be 16.
Understood.
It's a little challenging, but it's for people who know what to look for. The information is there.
Please,
Go ahead
I'm
and
the most skilled in my craft. Thanks to Daddy, I've had all the time in the world to study. And that was Snake Eyes.
oh.
You've had all the time in the
Oh.
world to study, but did you, Basil? Did you
I
really study?
studied a lot.
Maybe you need to lay off the champagne.
Exactly.
I studied
what
a lot.
did you study?
Anatomy and
Oh.
physiology.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
It was
Buddha,
very
that
important
sounds
during my
correct.
research. It was elementary.
Silver has a lot of different applications and a lot of different things. You could be dealing with strange alchemical allergies. You could be dealing with werewolves. You could be dealing with vampires. It is,
So hard to know.
and I think there's actually a rumor that Hitler is allergic to silver.
I'm going to make sure that Basil assumes at this point that the reason that they requested no silver is just because they don't like the color. Like, I feel like, for real.
Play on. Play on.
I would be interested.
I told you he
Michelle,
probably likes
would you
gold.
be prepared to lend me a few of your needles? If silver is something that they particularly dislike, I might be able to fashion a blowpipe as used by certain Amazon tribes. I'm quite well versed in various weaponry.
Well, I was just wondering,
Out of the drinking straws.
Yes,
not the ones with the umbrellas on top, obviously. The such as to make a weapon that might be a little more effective than a standard pistol, should it be required.
Well, I was just thinking that perhaps I should check the medical books that I have, just to make sure, because I don't want you like using that and aiming at the wrong direction or the wrong body part. You know, we want it to be.
Indeed, precision is
yes
valuable.
So let me pull that out of my bag just to look up and see if there's anything specific about silver. And I do have, now this is a question from the player. I do have an equipment skill bonus in knowledge as well as a skill of knowledge and the mind. Would I add all three of those together?
Yes. So basically, so you have your mind skill, sorry, your mind attribute plus your knowledge skill, and then if you have a bonus to knowledge from something in your equipment. So for example, a field manual from the in your Order of Victory medical bag, then yes, you can absolutely use that.
Then okay. So what would I have to roll then? What's the total that I would need?
So for you, that is going to be a 20.
A 20. Okay.
That said, I am willing to give you a let's see here. If Basil is willing to pull himself out of his aesthetic stupor for a little bit.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I was stricken by a sudden bout of boredom. What do you need?
He can give you a potential friend in need bonus as you two talk this out.
Oh, sorry, I was talking in character, but yes, I will happily give my friend a bonus.
Okay, so
you're talking about mind, correct?
Yes, mind plus knowledge. So
knowledge, that's going to be 8, so that's only going to be a +1 bonus.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can pull this out. My Mine is I have 9 to start off with.
Right,
Adding
and
the
then-
one from Basil brings me up to 10.
That's correct. And so you have to roll 10 or higher.
10 or
And
higher.
don't- And if you
And-
roll snake
But
eyes, it will
don't
go
do
badly.
snake eyes.
Yes, absolutely do not roll snake eyes.
Oh no. Okay. I got a double 1.
You rolled snake eyes as well?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
I'm looking in my manual and there is a page that has been torn out, my friends. And it's right in the S's. I don't know if that means that there was something about silver or not.
Oh
Because it's
wait,
gone.
was that a page from your manual? Well, it fell out. I thought
Okay.
it must have fallen out.
Okay,
I
so
thought it
you-
was a coaster.
You didn't. Oh my. I am not
Are
drinking
we-
with you anymore, Basil. No.
Are we all agreed that this guest is in fact Commander Schmidt, who is, I believe, our current target?
That is a very,
I
it's
possibility.
indeed quite possible.
Has he ever been here before? Because it sounds like he's come before. And in the past, I'm just curious, was silver restricted then?
Would I know that?
So first of all, cat-like typing detected. In our side chat here. But Commander Schmidt has visited in the past. That said, this is the first time that your silver collection of fastenings and finishings has been raided, as it were.
This is the first time I've seen
This is
my
the first
silver
time.
taken. Do I know if any of the girls has like silver powder that has like this that has the silver element or something that I have that's not relatively known that has silver like specks in it that I use for
Like glitterish?
yes, like glitterish.
Like glitter makeup?
Or like, what about mirrors? Were they like
there are in fact silverback mirrors in place in the Moulin Rouge, just in general as furniture, and they're fairly large. They can't really be moved.
I
but,
take it I don't have
Were they
any silver
covered
bullets handy
or anything?
right now.
why don't you take a walk around and find out, since you're heading to your box.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go to the back if possible and see if I can talk to any of the working ladies and see if they have any silver things that they hid away from this unnecessary, snatching of our contents of our silver.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be like kind of slouching and just like 100% like looking very upset that my silver is gone and that this.
So yes, a couple of
here.
the showgirls come to you and say, "Oh, Cherie, what is wrong? What? Can we get you something? Can we get you a drink? Is it a rough night? What is going on?"
No. No. My silver, all my silver is gone. The silver for your lovely pieces that I created for you, they have taken it away. And now I don't even know what silver is to be had. Did you?
The girls are in an uproar. They are just as upset about this as you are. And you hear, and Constance, once you get folks to their box, you hear a commotion starting to rise up from backstage.
No. Ladies, sorry, ladies, no.
I come in and please, could we appeal for calm? The guests are starting to arrive.
No.
Not the special guest as yet, but I assume the show is about to start, so the guests are starting to. What seems to be the problem?
They took all of Madame Magda's silver. We
They
like
did.
silver spangles in our costumes, and they
They
didn't
have
take
promised
anything
to
from
return it.
us.
please, ladies, they have promised to return it. This is a temporary adjustment requested by one of our important guests. It's highly inconvenient and has not been handled with the greatest tact or diplomacy. But please, there's no need to panic. However, if you happen to have anything of silver still remaining on your person, I'm sure that Miss Magda would be very grateful to receive it.
I know, mademoiselles, I know that you look glorious in silver, so I wouldn't want to take it from you.
There's some cooing noises. They're slightly mollified. So, well, they have not taken any silver from us. A couple of girls hand you like little lockets with pictures of sweeties that you know they have long since parted ways with. That they sometimes keep on their person to keep away the really creepy guests. There's one that hands you a silver ring that there has like a little hinged top that there's a couple of little pills in, but I'm just like, oh, can I have those back?
And I just like,
it's for the nerves, you know.
I'll start putting
understood.
together the chains from the lockets to make one long, stronger chain, if that's all right.
And I'll ask any of the girls if they have it, any of the showgirls, whether or not they have makeup that are silver, that has silver contents. It's like none.
They shake their head, but then there's a clap of the hands from some of the others. Come on, girls, the show's about to start. Places.
And I rush around to like also make sure they all are wearing the peak of perfection of their attires.
Of course.
I will go to my post at box 5 and observe that everything's as it should be.
Indeed. So
did anyone come to box 8 with me?
I did.
Yes, I believe Basil and I think Michelle also came with you to box 8.
Yeah.
So from your view at box 8, you actually have a very good view of the crowd, but not so much of the stage. There's a reason why box 8 usually remains empty. At least for the people who actually like to watch the show. As in the actual show being put on, not necessarily.
Well, at least
from the people watching perspective, Gunn, this is actually pretty solid. You might want to actually invest in, keeping this box for yourself, especially for gossip purposes.
Can I see them across the theater from box 5?
You're currently near the door to enter box 5. Once you actually, if you end up going into the box, you can absolutely spot them.
If the guests aren't already there, I would go in and just look around for anything unusual.
So the seats look like they normally do. There's usually like a table with like a small like setup for like snacks and hors d'oeuvres and desserts and what have you, if people wish have something to eat while they're enjoying the show. All of the cutlery has a gold finish.
I have spot strangeness as a skill for my action pool. Would you like me to roll anything for that?
So yeah, go ahead and with that and the information you had previously, go ahead and roll. That one is going to be that is going to be that was going to be your mind plus notice. With the information that you have previously, I'm going to go ahead and call it a 14.
I rolled, so my action pool for spot strangeness would be 4 + 2, so 6.
So and then you rolled 2.
And I rolled a 7, so no. 13.
This is connected. You know it's connected. It's connected to the silver, lack of silver. You know it's important, but it's on the tip of your tongue. You can't figure out what it is, and it's driving you nuts.
Did I get the needles and straws and things?
Yes, you did.
And I have the chain as well now.
Yes, you do. You are well and truly armed with silver weaponry should you need it.
No silver bullets, I assume, on my person.
Not at present, no.
Basil would like to do something, if that's okay. It's a little bit absurd,
Okay.
if that's all right. He would like to
You're
turn over to Michelle and Gunda, and he's lounging out, he's indignant, he's just kind of sitting, and he looks depressed, and he's gonna say, I was really hoping we could get some lovely seats. I can't see anything from here. One, all I can do is watch the paint dry. One. All right, I'm bored. All right, I'm gonna go knock on the door of our target. Is that cool with you guys? I'm gonna assume it's cool. See ya. He's gonna just start walking out, and he's gonna bring a bottle of champagne with him.
So while he is doing that, over on the other side of the theater, there is the sound of footsteps approaching. There's about 6 or 7 of them. They have remarkable military precision. Constance will hear this, because she is specifically looking out for people approaching box 5. And there are, in fact, 7 gentlemen in full Nazi regalia coming towards box 5.
So
6
I will
of them.
step out and hold the door for them and greet them politely. Good evening, gentlemen. I am internal security for this evening. I do hope you enjoy the performance.
The oldest of the gentlemen, who's actually, as it turns out, the tallest, smiles tightly at Constance. Thank you for your continued hospitality. Very clipped, very German. Some of the younger officers actually are kind of looking Constance up and down like they like what they see.
She noticed this, but totally ignores it. She's well used to it, but not a chance.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And in fact, the older gentleman is in fact Commander Schmidt. You hear it just by the way the gentleman address him. Even in German, it's very clearly Herr Commander. There's literally no way that you can.
Well, as part of Constance's training,
she
learned
knows.
some German.
Yes. You. In fact, I will go ahead and take that. Yes, they're. It is standard German Nazi locker room talk. It is. The guys are kind of douchey. I'm not going to repeat what they're saying because this is sort of a family show. But they are definitely here for the recreational entertainment as advertised. And
I would discreetly ask maybe the commander himself if he would like me to put in a request for any particular company after seeing the show, that I would be happy to do so.
Now, are you asking him this? Are you making this comment in English or in German?
In German, just to him softly and very discreetly.
Of course. And first of all, his eyebrows raise a little bit, especially at the use of German. And of course he responds, I will absolutely let you know. I will give you names. And he seems quite pleased. The other officers seem to sit up a little straighter after he gives them a look, especially since he raises his voice when he responds to you, so they can hear that he's speaking to you in German and that you understand. The other young gentlemen sit up a little straighter, and suddenly they seem a lot more well behaved. Clearly, they want to make an impression. And right as they are settling
balance.
in, and someone's making a comment of, "Ooh, even the silverware is gold." You hear a certain boisterous Englishman coming your way.
That's where that's where everybody was. Hi, what's going on? How's everybody doing?
So, quick question. Michelle, Gunn,
Yes.
are you trying to stop him in any way? Or are you trying to follow him so
I
he doesn't cause further trouble?
I have run after him, but I'm still a few paces behind. I was trying to talk him out. He doesn't listen. You know he doesn't listen. So I've had to hot-foot it after him. So, but I'm still a little ways behind him at this point.
So Connie is going to sort of notice him and look to the Germans for their response to his intrusion initially. Are they?
They hear the noise and they kind of have a raised eyebrow, but they're not really paying it too much attention because clearly security has it handled.
Yes, well, security. Commander, the garçon is here with the champagne for you to taste for the evening. I'm sort of looking daggers at Basil here.
Oh, yes.
He's just been called the garçon.
Yes, my name is Garçon. I think that was. Wait, no, that's not on my. Oh, anyways. Yes, let us break bread together. Hello, it is a pleasure to meet you. And
So,
and you.
Quick cultural note: the garçon in this particular
Yes.
case, French means boy, and usually she's basically saying that your staff, your wait staff.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
I
just want to make sure that's I just want to make sure that's clear out of character.
Of course. I kind of picked up on that from context,
yeah.
but again, I'm just playing the character. He's kind of this lovable idiot, trust fund baby.
The German was,
Oh.
you know, of course it sort of blows my cover a bit, but it was also to build a rapport with them and, you know.
Of course.
Mhm.
Well,
Anyway.
and also it's probably fairly common for staff at the Moulin Rouge, especially those who interact with customers, especially the officers, to at least know a little bit of German.
Very well. Awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to say that Michelle has caught up, and she's trying to get a feel for whether or not to try to get Basil out of there or not. So I'm going to like whisper to Constance, do you want him in there, or do you need me to grab him?
Absolutely. Everything is perfectly under control for the moment.
All right. And and Michelle gets a peek into the room. I do have an ability to see weaknesses or weak points. And I'd like to like use that as I'm like glancing in at these the Germans and see if there's anything. How would I do that?
So for what you're using it for specifically,
yes, it's a notice skill.
Yeah, I'm pulling up your character sheet just to make sure I'm telling you the right information. So
I want to notice any weaknesses.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll a mind plus notice. That is going to be a 13. This is not terribly difficult, but there's definitely a lot of things that you can spot here. Definitely don't roll snake eyes. Oh my gosh, the dice are not with y'all tonight.
I know the dice are not my friends, but we'll see what it does. I got a 10 on the dice. And you said mind plus notice?
That'll do it. That'll put you in 18.
That's an 18. So
yes.
What do I notice?
So you notice that there is something in common with all of these young men. They're very rowdy. They're not necessarily They're only well behaved when they get orders to be well behaved. As you see them kind of interact with each other in the typical soldier grab ass, they very much have the you can tell that some of them may have a temper to begin with.
Okay.
These
And
are
what
not
about Herr
very
Schmidt?
Richter Schmidt is almost too calm.
Oh goodness.
He's sitting very, he looks very strict. He's very clearly on, he is on duty even as he is attempting to enjoy himself in a remarkably practiced way.
Mhm.
Huh. And that's a
Something like,
weakness?
yes, that is a weak point, specifically because it looks practiced. It
Okay.
looks like that is whatever he is doing to maintain himself that way, or that method of maintaining himself that way. If he doesn't, it will result in very, very bad things. That is very clearly the kind of rigid self-control that someone has when they know they could be a danger to others.
Okay.
Would it be all right
Uh-huh.
for Basil to incorporate some kinetic magic into his pouring of the champagne for these soldiers? He's wanting to
So
wave around the bottle, do little tricks, break the internet, you know, that kind of thing.
all right.
These
So
young kids. Oh, this is why we never had children.
if you want to, so I will, okay, so you can do that. At the same time, you remember some guidance from dear old dad.
Mhm.
That sometimes people will not understand what you're able to do, and it will frighten them, and it will cause them to cause you harm. You need to be careful who you share your tricks with, young man.
Yes, yes, Daddy. But can we get to the pony now?
So, okay. And Michelle has an ability to like warn someone of danger and give them +1 to their rolls to escape death. And I am just thinking that Basil he's trying to do himself in.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, if you that sounds like a really good application of that particular option
yes,
right there.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Basil, honey, come back, come back, come back.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
do
yes.
that.
What are you talking about?
Don't do that. You're gonna get yourself in trouble. You could get hurt. Come back, come back, come on, come on.
Uh-huh. Okay. But I don't see the problem here. I mean, we're trying to
thought-
get I'm trying to distract them so you guys could get intel. Didn't you use this time to do something?
So I just kind of burst into the box and I'm like, there you are, darling. I've been looking everywhere for you. And I kind of grab Basil by the crook of the arm and guide him out.
Oh, honey, I missed you so much. Come on, let's go back to the box.
Oh, in the
Constance, so sorry. We'll leave you alone now.
my
Right.
apologies, Commander, for the intrusion. Allow me pick up the champagne and just pour out some for him to taste.
All right. And so, meanwhile, backstage with Magda, the show is going along swimmingly. You've helped a bunch of girls get into their costumes, do the quick changes, etc. One of the girls looks a little bit more anxious than usual. Babette is a very anxious girl usually, but she can usually get herself put together for a show just fine. The minute she's backstage and everything, that's fine. That is not the case tonight. She is a nervous wreck.
Babette? What's her name?
Wait.
Babette, darling, how are you alright?
No, I'm not. I take something for my nerves before I go on stage, and I could not do that tonight. They took it away. It's my medicine for my nerves.
Oh no. Do I remember the girl that had the medication that I gave back?
That was not Babette.
Yeah, but do I remember who she is, like where she's at?
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's sit down. Let's see if any of the other ones have something for your nerves. But why are you nervous? Why?
You know, I've always been I also have some anxiety, but when I go on stage, it is not really well. And I usually take something for my nerves, but the owner said to me that I could not take the medicine tonight.
What is your medicine?
So it has she lists off a couple of normal standard ingredients and wolfsbane.
Wolfsbane. They took your medication with wolfsbane?
The flower it's one of the ingredients helps to calm anxiety and it's very effective. It's one of the only things that works.
And then like while she's like, how angsty is she?
Oh, she is so normally when she's not performing, she's a bit of a nervous wreck. She is at that level right now. But usually when she goes out on stage and is about ready to go, she's just like calm as a cucumber. It is like literally night and day.
Okay. And while she's like an anxious wreck, I help her sit down and it's like, darling, my person, my more. Sit down, sit with me, and I like hold her hands and I hold them really tightly and I'm like, follow my breath, and we do like breathing technique, and then I'm like, you're perfect, you're beautiful, you're amazing, only you can wear the garment I made for you. And
she definitely calms down with Magda talking to her, and she's thank you.
yes,
So
I
much.
wouldn't give you anything that wouldn't look amazing for you, and you enhance the work amazingly. So you are amazing, and like I tell her to like calm down and basically.
So as you listen to that, things start clicking together in your head.
Yeah, that's yeah. Okay.
In a very disturbing manner.
Yeah, while I'm trying to have her
silver is
practice.
gone.
Yep.
There's a medication that was confiscated that had wolfsbane in it. You should probably also look outside.
I like once she has calmed down, I bid adieu, and then I am like literally just having my fists just like pulsing, and I go outside and
it's a beautiful
see this
full moon out tonight.
And I just put my head down, like, okay. And I like give myself a moment of like, I am going to have my own personal panic attack where my like internal, like not so awesome stuff might be hurtful. And I like try to be like, it's fine. You have.
When you clench your fists, you feel your claws start to dig into your palms.
And like that has my reminder, like, you're still alive, you're still breathing, it's okay. You're still human. You can still make this choice. You can still make a choice. Be calm. And I go inside and I find Constance and Michelle, and
I step out of the box to talk to her.
Yes.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
You're able to find a lovely spot in an intermission.
Constance, Michelle, one of the girls just told me that their medication was taken from them and they could not take it. Yes. Now she is quite fine.
Okay.
But her medication had wolfsbane. That's with the silver and the full moon. We can all know where that is going.
Oh my god, they're werewolves. I was right. Allergic to silver. That's why.
Gun, she snuck up on. Gun, keep your voice down. We don't want to start anything just yet.
I'm
there-
trying to write a
quiet.
good story here.
Good,
The
but keep your
story
voice.
leaves nothing
Is there
out.
any kind of skylight or access for the moonlight into the box or the surrounding areas? I'll be looking up to see.
There is not from where you're at, so they won't necessarily be able to directly see the full moon. That said, that doesn't
It might not
necessarily
be.
mean it won't stop anything if they go crazy.
I
Oh, goodness.
suggest something.
I
Michelle.
do still have wolfsbane in my bag. I always have the full complement of medications. I mean,
Well then,
I have that at least.
I suggest
Yeah.
then that you maybe pour the next bottle of champagne, which I've ordered to arrive shortly.
Yes, they didn't have it. Look at me, did they earlier? I know I saw them, but I don't want to like.
Well, they
Speaking
can
of
easily
champagne,
adjust-
wasn't I supposed to get a bottle too?
Yes, and you absolutely, the bottle that you got was the one that Basil brought over for the bottle service. They literally, he took it with him.
He took it with him.
We
Oh,
are-
this one.
We are on duty, Gunda, where there will be plenty of time to celebrate afterwards, I'm sure.
And time to write
Yes,
your article.
and I am a guest here. That's my cover. What kind of guest doesn't drink?
Fair
The
enough.
kind that has another thing they've got to be prepared for. So just be ready to back us up, okay?
So there should be another waiter coming up or something with some champagne.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Can I go to
The champagne
Michelle?
is flowing freely in box 5 tonight.
I
Especially since
would like
apparently
to.
Basil has kind of gotten their attention and is now drinking with the Germans, because why not?
I was about I was about to ask, and I'm happy that's the case.
Yes.
I would like to try something with one of them because one of them who was looking at Constance particularly hungrily. I would like to try to lure him out somewhere quiet and private.
Do you have, okay,
Oh my.
Constance, if you're going to do that, are you prepared for
Oh,
what
I'm-
may happen?
I am prepared. I have silver weaponry on my person.
Okay.
Uh,
All
But I
right.
would appreciate it
If-
nevertheless if you were on hand.
Yes, as I say, you give a shout out if, so I can come in if there's like a, if you get wounded or something,
Michelle,
Yes.
I do feel fear for the girls. Is there a chance that can you give me some wolfsbane just in case one of them is requested and I can give it to them in guise of calming their nerves.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Usually by itself, the wolfsbane alone is not good at calming the nerves. They do have to mix it with a few.
Yes, I assume because they trust me that the placebo effect would be quite effective. I just wish for them to be cared for. It's simple. The history has shown the one should always take care.
I see. All right.
Just in case they get called in, only the ones that are. Is there a way
Okay.
for you to give me like a tablet or I suppose a sugar pill to be more exact? I
A
suppose.
sugar pill would probably be better. I'm afraid of giving just straight wolfsbane. Although I'm wondering if a sedative might be better.
You know far more medicine than I.
Yes.
Just
let me-
something that they are able to ingest and not cause them any internal harm, but will cause others if need be.
Topical applications work. Nice skin cream.
Skin cream.
Skin cream is a good one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
is there like face powder or something that
Oh,
you can
yeah.
do?
Absolutely.
So I'll see. Can we make
Yes.
some powder?
Yes, let me pull that out here. Just give me a second.
Okay.
All right.
So,
So this is what you need to use. All
Mhm.
right. And please sparingly, you don't want too thick of a layer on the skin. that could cause damage to their complexions. So just a thin layer.
Good.
Okay.
Constance, are you able to tell me if they request anyone?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I
I'll
go
ask now.
and then I'll stay until Constance gets any additional information.
So I'll go back into the box and I'll ask.
So right about then, Babette is on stage, and she is doing, that is the best performance of her life. For the folks who have been here undercover and as guests and as regulars, you've never seen her do so well.
Definitely hiding the shadows and just grinning on like huge grin of like just but very much behind something else, so no one can see me because socially I am the most awkward person ever.
To ask in German, Commander, is there any girl who has caught your eye so far?
Commander Schmidt is transfixed on the stage. He doesn't even look at Constance when he says, "I like her," pointing to Babette.
Very well. So I will indicate that, come out and Magda, Babette's presence is requested. I suggest you prepare her immediately after her performance.
She did so well. I am happy, but also not so happy.
Well,
and then I flounder over to Babette and like change my face to something more excitable. And I just, when she comes out to the backstage, I applaud her.
Oh, thank you so much.
Brava, brava.
Oh.
Amazing. You took all
I
and
can
more.
see the headline now. Babette dazzles guests, even with no silver in sight.
Gun, hi. Are you okay? And then I'm like, yes.
She blushes. She looks appropriately blushing and flustered. She's like, "Oh, this is that performance adrenaline high that I personally experiencing right now, GMing for you all."
Babette, my darling, my amor, please. It seems like our special guest of the evening has requested your company.
Oh, won't you?
Let's sit. And I sit her down again, and I'm like, Babette, and I hold her hands. The beautiful one, the one that takes everything to shine. Let's get you ready, shall we?
Fantastic.
I will make sure you look beyond beautiful. You will not break a leg out there. You will break hearts.
Oh. Okay. So quick out of character, just checking, making sure I understand where folks are going. Magda is making sure that Babette has the nice face powder with the wolfsbane on it, so that when she spends time with Commander Schmidt, that could be a nasty surprise. We are also slipping some wolfsbane into the next bottle of champagne per Constance, correct? And Constance may also be luring over one of the other officers.
Constance feels that taking on, because Commander Schmidt himself is not a werewolf from the previous visits, correct? But the 6 recruits probably are, or is he?
It's actually really hard to tell. The 6 recruits were certainly not with him that last time, but
you can become a werewolf later.
Exactly.
True. Very well. Well, in that case, Constance feels that taking on 6, potentially 7 werewolves, or 6 and him, is going to be quite the risk. So trying to pick them off individually might be a tactic to follow. So yes, so she will get Michelle to serve the champagne when it arrives, and then target one of the men by she's seen enough in her time to know Moulin Rouge, but also previously in society and so forth, to know how to make the moves, especially
Yes.
when she already has the admiration.
It's a warm target. All right, and so Basil is continuing to get the officers rip roaring drunk.
Mhm.
And
All right,
himself-
who's ready for this third round? Who's ready?
I like this one.
Ah, yes, I like you too. I love you very much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love all of you.
All right,
Messieurs, Messieurs, the owners have given us a very special bottle of champagne this evening. This is one that has been held in reserve. It has a very special taste. There's a little extra bubbles. And I have been told to bring it to this booth only tonight. Monsieur Basset, would you pour for us?
All right, and quick out of character check-in. So, and then Gunn through all of this is also partying it up with the Germans, trying to see what they might spill information-wise, or is there something else specific she's doing?
Gun is kind of just walking around looking for the story. She appears here and there,
Mhm.
sneaks backstage, sneaks, goes into the box, partying it up. Right now, she is looking around the guests to see if she notices anything unusual about them.
Okay. So a lot of the information specifically about the guests in box 5 has been previously put out there. The normal crowd is definitely there. There's definitely, like tourists and officers are present as well. The owners are actually out and about working the floor, which they don't always do, which also means that their office is probably empty.
Well, she's looking for the inside scoop, so
Okay.
she's gonna head to the office after noticing that the owners are not in there. Connie has a good handle on box 5.
Oh, yes.
Michelle and Magna figuring things out, and she's gonna leave Basil to be Basil.
Oh yeah. So Basil, is there anything specifically that you're angling for as far as getting them to, be a little looser lipped?
I kind of want them to be a little bit more looser lipped, a little bit more unwinding. I want to the unbutton their collars and that kind of thing. I do while they're kind of a lot of them are, they're doing locker room talk, they're boisterous and distracted. I kind of want to kind of cozy up next to the commander and start talking with him for a brief moment, if that would be okay.
Sure. Let me go ahead and run something real quick for Gun because
Of
I
course.
promised, and then I will get to that.
Take your time.
All right. Gun. The office is locked, but a locked door has never stopped you before. Go ahead and do a body plus subterfuge for me because, well, I'm sure your girl knows how to pick locks.
Oh yeah, she pulls out a bobby pin.
Yep, it is nothing super special about it. It's going to be a difficulty 10.
Okay, so you said body and what else?
Subterfuge.
Okay, so that's a base of 4 + 3 is 7, and 10.
That'll do it. The door opens easily with a click.
Do they even try anymore? Come on.
The office looks like any normal entertainment office would. There's in fact the safe in the corner. And there's, specifically some paperwork. And there is a rather large set of there's a check on the table with a shockingly large amount of money made out to the owners.
Okay.
Specifically from the Reich. It is there is a note on the actual check itself. It says for entertainment and potential damages.
Okay.
And a very clear set of instructions for Commander Schmidt's visit. No silver to be on the person of anyone in the party with Commander Schmidt. Severe allergy to wolfsbane. Any red meat, preferably served close to raw. And any entertainment may be exclusive to these officers moving forward. The little parenthetical says, do not be surprised if we bring them with us when we leave.
Just gonna have to say that I'm scared of all these red flags. I feel like I'm at a race right now.
All the pieces are there.
Can I steal the list?
Absolutely. There's no one there to stop you.
Can I take the check also?
If you want, girls go for receipts. Let's go.
Right.
I mean, there's nobody in there. There's nobody there to stop
Awesome.
you. And then there's also the safe.
Ooh. Well, I am gonna steal the check and the list because I like having evidence. And then I'm gonna go over to the safe and try and open it. What?
Okay, that is going to be a difficulty of 18.
18?
It is difficult. Same pool that you had, body plus subterfuge. You have to be very careful and precise with the combination. You know, put your ear to it, kind of, normal safe cracker stuff. You can also, if you like, you can spend one of your specializations either in one of your skills or in your attributes, specifically to reduce the difficulty by 5, if you like. At that point, you can't use that particular specialization for the rest of the session, but it's, we have like half an hour left, so if you're going to do it, now's the time.
Okay.
So I would personally recommend, specifically for you, I would probably recommend your the steady specialization for your body would be appropriate for this one. So what you can do with that is if you spend that specialization, you can reduce the difficulty down to 13.
Okay. Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay, let's do it. All right. And also remember, you have the lucky quality, which basically means that 3 times an episode, 3 times a session, you can roll 3 dice and keep the 2 high ones.
All right.
This is a really good time to do it. This is one of the important ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got a 7.
So on 2 dice?
Yeah.
Okay,
6
so
and 1.
okay, so did you use the Was that the best? Did you use a lucky there or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. The dice were not with you. So did you get like a 6, a 1, and a 1? Oh my goodness. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Luckily,
Oh,
luckily I did.
Luckily,
wait, the
luckily
dice hate
it's-
it so bad.
Yeah, no, luckily that's enough though. Because the
Okay.
7 plus your body and your subject
Oh,
and
right.
all that, because you lowered it down to a 13, so that's enough. The safe.
Okay. Right,
It's-
math.
It's
Okay.
it's a very new thing, and it takes a little while. You're a little nervous somebody might catch you, but finally, breath of relief, because the gods of luck have smiled upon you. The safe opens with a click. Inside are all those silver findings and bits and bobs that are normally in the costume shop. A little bottle, a little liquid bottle of anxiety medication, as clearly as a tincture of aconite, which is another name for wolfsbane. So it is very clear this is where all the stuff was stashed, like it was initially said earlier too.
So
Any silver cutlery, knives and forks?
Oh yeah. There's a whole stash of silver here.
so I'm gonna take what I can from it. Any wearable jewelry I'm gonna start putting on my body. Any sharps I'm gonna start concealing into my clothing and my dress, things like that. I'm gonna take the little bottle of the medicine. Anything else that I can take?
That take what you can carry.
Okay.
That said, getting out of there without being noticed is going to be it's going to be another subterfuge roll, and I'm gonna put it at a 15.
Okay. So that's
so 7 plus whatever you roll on that.
You can use your lucky again, can't you?
You can in fact use your lucky again. This is another good time to use it.
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna use the lucky. Um, 6 and 3, so that's 9 plus
That'll
7.
do. That will do it. It's you're able to get out of there without getting caught.
Yay.
Clearly, when Constance is not on security duty, security is very, very lax.
Constance wouldn't stop you. Can we?
Of course not.
so-
Constance is busy.
Constance is busy, so can we go to sort of meanwhile at the box?
Yep.
Or?
That's
Okay,
what. Yeah,
so-
that's. I just wanted to get that wrapped
Yeah,
up
no,
real quick
it's
because I
absolutely
trying to get
brilliant.
everybody there.
Exactly what
Yes,
we
so-
need. And if Constance
Exactly.
knew that Gunda was on the way, should feel a lot more confident, but still feels that trying to get one away and just see if we can take him out would be a good thing. So
All right.
she's
So,
going to catch the eye of one of the men who was looking at her earlier and just open the door and lean against it and just go, "Here, boy."
Sorry. That's hilarious and that's hot. First of all, one big thing I want to resolve. You wanted to put the wolfsbane in the champagne they're drinking now,
Yes.
correct? That is Michelle?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, first do no harm except in the case of werewolves.
That wasn't written down in my notes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say, because Basil is very, very distracting, you're able to sneak it in there without them really even noticing. Normally I would require a roll for that, but they are very clearly distracted. And so you start pouring the champagne. Now, do you want to lure, Constance, do you want to lure over your poor besotted werewolf after or before that?
After he's
particular-
had a swig of it.
Okay. They notice there's a little bit of a tingle to it. Even the commander has a sip, and he's like, that is a very special vintage, is it not?
It is indeed. This is
Five in the box gets a little bit tense.
Well, what happened to you all? You all look sorry as sods. Like, why are you all like stop? Why'd you stop talking? Come on, the champagne has been poured. We've got our 5th round in. The show's not even over. Come on, come on.
Is Bebish done? If I may prepared her.
Oh yeah, she is ready to go.
I was
so-
hoping that like while the tone
Yeah,
and Basil is
absolutely.
trying to get the tone back up,
Yeah.
to give Basil like a little
And,
help.
All
with-
right. So
Connie's trying to lure Ron away now with
Yep.
that.
Yep. So Constance, for you, I am gonna go ahead and so the one you managed to lure away is the out of the young officers, he's the biggest and burliest of the bunch. Got a decent amount of, facial and body hair that you can't even really be controlled very much by the uniform either. He's a handsome dude. He's just, he's definitely got a little bit more of a Bigfoot vibe to him almost.
Mhm. Constance isn't particularly interested in that, but beckons him down the corridor and just sort of round the corner.
That's just the one she's able to get.
Yeah.
Because you have a handy thing on your sheet called Gonzo Karma. He is a little wobbly on his feet. You, Fraulein, are so delectable.
Why, thank you. I do like them a little rough. Come with me.
You hear that little growl in the back of his throat that you're not entirely sure is human.
So as soon as we are out of sight, I want to try my fancy shooting and pull out the blowpipe and try to blow a needle straight into his heart. Silver needle.
All right, so out of you, then I'm going to go ahead and need body plus, okay, so body plus firearms, and then his plot armor is, okay, so with this, because there's going to be potentially consequences inflicted, I'm going to call this a +3 to your roll, just for wild card bonus, specifically for your trick shooting. So that will be your, so body plus firearms plus the +3 for your trick shooting. So that's going to be a base 11. The plot armor you're going to be trying to beat is a 16, which should be relatively easy for you.
6.
Okay, and so that's a 6 plus the 8 from that plus, so that's,
So 6 plus 11 is 17.
yep, that'll do it. You hit him. He winces and he growls, and you see his skin kind of shift under the uniform. When he looks up, he's got those yellow glowing eyes for a moment. But then it fades back, and you see black veins starting to creep up his face. And his eyes bulge wide. He puts his hands to his throat. Wolfsbane. And he falls over. He might be dead. Or he might just be out of the fight. But what you got, it works.
I don't need to do anything else then to keep him
No,
down.
he is curled up, and he actually kind of like the uniform, like it looks a little baggier on him now. Like he's kind of getting a little smaller. Like he's been trying to flex a little bit all evening, and now he's just like maybe he's not so cool as you thought he
So,
was.
yeah.
But he's and maybe a little less hairy. But
What
he's
a,
very clearly it looks more like a poisoning victim than he's like he's just got a needle sticking out of him, and he's just like
I'll leave the needle there. How many do I have?
you have 3 more.
Thank you. So I will step back and just, what a good dog. And
Line of the night, everybody, right there. Good dog.
good
Sit,
dog.
stay.
Down boy. Yes. So I will just very collectedly come back to the box. I would be perfectly happy to try that again. What are the others doing at the moment? Is Gunda back with
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap get that up real quick. Magda, are you coming with Babette to the box?
Yes, and I look
Okay.
to Babette and like, my petite beauty, if ever you need any readjusting, or if they need their attire to be fixed because you are so precious, just call and I will be there. I will be waiting outside the door for you, because you are my jewel for the day, and I will love to make you shine. And then, like, I like grab her hand and like kiss her on her hand very softly, and it's like, you'll go break these men's hearts.
So, all right. So now
Any
there's
chance I
gonna
can
be
look into the door and see who's in there?
there are now 5 officers and Commander Schmidt in there.
Okay.
The guy who's a little bit bigger than the rest seems to have gone missing.
And I see that and I smile.
And so I'm going to set 2 separate scenes here. One is going to be outside the box where Magda and Constance are going to be, and then inside the box we've got Michelle and Basil, and I think Gunda is going to be coming back as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop outside of the box
Okay.
so I can
All
be
right.
with Connie and Magda.
Okay. So quick scene inside the box. Babette comes in and she is her utter charming self. And she's clearly got a little bit of, powder on her. It's nice floral scent. And she promptly sits down directly in the lap of Commander Schmidt. She knows exactly where she needs to go. And the guys are starting to look like they've had a little too much to drink at this point. Like, you've seen Schnockard, and this is definitely a level of, which is interesting because Michelle, knowing what you do now, werewolves don't really get drunk. This may be a side effect of the special blend.
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
how are you reacting to this? And is there anything in particular you would like to do at this stage?
I mean, Basil's he's been looking around for an opportunity to talk to the commander, and he's trying to like peer over his shoulder while he's with the others, but he's noticing, dang, the showgirl got close too soon. Oh well.
Yeah, and also, this might actually be a good opportunity right now while he's got the distraction on his lap.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, and who seems to be smiling. He definitely looks like he's a little hot under the collar, as it were. So a few things
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, so a couple of things that you could potentially do here is what you could do, like if you specifically wanted to use some specific magic items, some chaos magic could potentially heighten some of the effects of the wolfsbane, if you like. And of course, if you want to, lie your ass off about, about your family, so you can, potentially get in good with them later for additional infiltration opportunities, you have that as well. I just want to make sure that, folks have things to do that save their strengths.
Can Connie just sort of glance in the door and catch Basil and Magda's eye and just give them the wink that the other one is?
Michelle.
At that juncture, Basil will definitely excuse himself. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I have to go, do the dirty work. I'll be right back. As he's just going to excuse himself and go outside.
And he's they kind of wave him off, especially as the girls are starting to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And something you hear on the way out is, "Don't feel so good."
From who?
From one of the officers. It's laughing.
Okay.
So
the wolfsbane and the silver takes them down. He's one of them is now very much out of action. What is our plan now that we have Gunda coming back as well?
So I show up and I'm like, looky what I found. And I start.
Oh no! Come back!
Oh no!
Gun's been lost in the void. Oh,
you
we
froze
just lost
right
you.
when you were gonna say the important stuff.
Well, you said, looky what I found, and then you froze.
Oh. So I start showing off all the jewelry, kind of like
all the silver.
All the silver. I hike up my dress, show you the knives that are concealed, and then I like pull out the list and the check that I found, and I'm like, I have hit the story jackpot. Guess who accepts bribes from the Third Reich? And so I'm super excited. Like, I wonder how much the owners would miss this check if it disappeared.
I think they would probably be quite happy to part with it if the story of them hosting werewolves were somehow to be suppressed. However, that's more your milieu than mine.
Anyways, I found all of the stuff that went missing. Here's all your silver and stuff, Magda. Now you probably want some of the knives, Connie.
I do indeed. I will take a couple of those.
What is our plan? Are we killing them? What are we doing? We should find out how they became werewolves in the first place.
Yes, I wonder if there's a way to cure them. Because if we can cure them of being werewolves, we should do that first.
I would like to.
So quick question: are all of you outside at this point?
Yeah.
Outside the box.
From
within the box.
Yeah.
You hear some grunts and cries of masculine voices, very clearly in distress, and a scream from Babette.
I immediately go in. I wait nothing. I hear that scream and I go.
We're going in.
Okay. One moment, y'all.
Yeah.
Basil, you wanted to do something?
Yes. At the sound of the woman's cry, he was just about to tell everybody while they were discussing a plan, and he was going to say, Yeah, you realize there's a showgirl on his lap right now, right? Like, I don't think we have the time for that. And well, that answered that question. So Basil's just gonna take one of the silver knives out of Gunn's hands, and then he's just gonna follow Magda's lead, and he was just going to essentially do an attack against the commander as soon as he saw him.
Mhm. Open the door, and these poor officers have these black veins crawling over their skin. Their skin is shifting, their snouts are kind of growing out to something, more canine, their eyes are glowing yellow, and for some of the younger ones it's starting to fade back, and then they kind of collapse, but not the commander. He grits his lengthening canines and stands to his feet.
So
All
Connie
four?
wants to do a stunt and kind of run half up the wall of the box, jump around behind him and get the silver chain around his neck.
Okay. So this is definitely going to be more of a combat scenario.
Yeah.
I absolutely think this is a possibility. So because we are running short on time, I am going to do a slightly more cinematic take on this. I want each of you to kind of think about what your character will be doing in this particular situation, whether it's, an offensive or a defensive maneuver. Like there's the commander, there's getting Babette to safety. There is potentially closing the curtains to the box so people don't see what's going on. They just hear people being rowdy. There's a few different things here, and I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to do something cool as part of this, because this is the culmination of the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Connie is very clearly, climbing the walls, being the awesome super soldier, and coming around with the silver chain garrote. Basil, what are you doing?
Basil is going to stumble and trip as he walks into the room, and he's going to take this silver knife, and he's going to call out, "Hocus pocus abracadabra, Victor, what was his name? Schmidt is your answer. Go! Random stuff!" As he immediately throws the knife and whatever he happened to be holding at the time at the commander, using a kinetic magic to propel it forward and strike him in the heart.
All right. Magda.
I think I was still carrying the champagne bottle.
Magda, what are you doing?
I go for Babette, and I don't know if I have the physical strength, but I will just totally just swift her out of the room really quickly.
You can have that particular strength if you go into your battle form.
What does my battle form look like?
That is, so basically your skin kind of grays out, your fingers become claws. It is definitely not human.
I don't want to scare her, and I see that these men are there's only one to be in battle, and Constance and Basil have that well at hand, and I go get her, and I simply go clean up, we'll clean this up, and I rush back into the room, go clean up.
Tra-la-la. All right.
Will look beautiful afterwards. In the new.
She basically try to keep her calm. All right.
Yeah.
Michelle, what are you doing?
Oh, wow. I am waiting to see if anyone's going to be hurt.
Someone ought to close those curtains, to be honest, actually.
Gunn is going to close the curtains.
Okay.
Gunn head immediately
Now,
just head straight for the
Take your
curtains.
story. But I'm like, wait a second. This is okay, who am I going to have to doctor at first kind of question is on my mind.
So the answer to that question is actually Babette. She did kind of stumble a little bit, specifically as she was trying to get out of there, because literally all hell broke loose.
That would be the person that I'd be going towards then.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Gunn, she immediately, the moment she enters the box, she heads straight for the curtains because A, this is her story, and B, it's also her mission, so she probably should keep it under wraps.
All right. Yeah. Anything else?
After she closes the curtains, she's gonna go take a look at one of the like fallen soldiers and see if they're still breathing.
All right. So several things happen at once, as we are fond of saying in places like LA by night. The curtains close. There's clearly an out of control werewolf transforming in front of you. Constance, being the super badass Captain Carter that we know her to be, parkours off the edges of the box and wraps her thighs around the guy's neck and gets the silver chain up on Commander Schmidt too. Basil lunges forward and throws his knife with more force than he actually should, because physics says no. And Constance actually feels the tip of the knife that Basil threw tickle her ribs a little. It's tickle her leg a little bit in the back. There is a howl that rises up from the box as Commander Richter Schmidt of the Werewolf Battalion breathes his last in box 5 of the Moulin Rouge. Magda, you're easily able to get Babette to safety, and there's a few scratches and whatnot on her. Her costume is definitely going to need some repairs just because of the scrambling that needed to happen. She's mostly unhurt. Michelle, go ahead and do a mind plus medicine check on Babette as you're performing some first aid.
Okay, mind and medicine.
Yes.
And what am I looking for?
So this is, kind of your standard, first aid, see where she's injured, etc. So this is going to be stock standard, like 10 difficulty. This stuff like the
Okay,
back of your hand.
I'm good. I
Yeah.
got 16.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, there's a couple scratches and whatnot. Nothing that's going to require stitches. In fact, it looks like some of them are healing up a little nicely now.
Uh-oh.
As you notice, there's actually a bite mark on Babette's neck. And that is where we'll be wrapping our session for tonight. You have completed the mission, but at what cost?
Constance will just straighten up her uniform.
Oh, yes.
Good show, chaps.
Utter remorse on Magda's
Oh.
face of just I have failed utterly.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So
Basil's feeling pretty good. He sighs with relief, wiping the sweat from his forehead. If there's anything, I think he's learned a lesson today, as does everyone. I think lesson he's learned is that Nazis are the worst +1s.
oh yeah.
Yeah, worst party goers
Absolutely.
ever. Terrible. They're so lame. They're so uptight.
Worst
It's like
party ever.
ugh.
That said, she may have been infected, but Michelle, that given time, there may be hope for her. And that is Showdown at the Moulin Rouge.
Very good.
If this was a slightly longer session, I probably would have gone a little bit deeper into the combat, but I see like a whole bunch of badasses here, and I wanted to make sure everybody had their moment to shine. That is my particular goal when I am GMing, is to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to do something cool in what their character, is specifically specializes for. Like Constance going in and, being the very clean, affable security, but also being the badass that you do not want to meet in a dark alley.
Not to mention a bit of a bitch.
But ting. Oh, beautiful. And Gunda got her story. Gunda definitely got her story.
And a big
Mhm.
payout.
But will you be able to
That's
print it, Gunther? Where will you print that? I don't know.
that's gonna be definitely a tough sell, but that bribery, especially, that high level of bribery, to Lord knows what would have happened with those girls. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing. And Magda, you now know what to look for to make sure this shit doesn't happen again. Who knows? Maybe the Moulin Rouge will need some new leadership.
Possibly, I suppose.
All right. So thank you all so much for playing with me this evening. I had a wonderful time. I hope you all did too. And so
Amazing.
for those of you so this is oh God, that avatar bouncing is the most adorable thing ever. Thank you, Robert.
How do I make my avatar blush?
So this was Punching Nazis, which is a genre within the Mora cinematic gaming system, which is available on Drive-Thru RPG. I'm Renee Ritchie. I am a game writer, GM, avid gamer, and you can find me pretty much on anywhere on the internet as Hedgie Cleric. I have I do stream on Saturdays here, though my schedule's been a little erratic due to real life and LARPs happening again. But I look forward to seeing all of you use what you learned and running sessions of your own and becoming certified geek therapists. Y'all were a fantastic group. Y'all were a delight to play with, and I hope you had a great time.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very much.
much.
Thank you.
Huh?
I've talked enough. I want to hear from them.
I liked the remember when thing at the beginning.
Mhm.
I liked that as a way of like kind of starting the interaction and the relationship building.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I think like when we started building, like when Gun was like, I am, also like a really important guest, and all of us were like backing her up. Like that to me, that was really fun because I was like, in my head, I kind of pictured it very much of like, I'm giving her something very tailored for her,
Yeah.
and then everybody
Yeah.
else is like, giving her this attention in order to be like, yeah,
Mhm.
this is a person that comes a lot. This person definitely needs,
Yeah.
that special, attention from like like a place. So it was that was a
Yeah,
great.
that's actually a really good best practice for groups like this, is specifically buy-in. When you have a character who's supposed to be the biggest badass that ever lived, or is specifically known for a certain thing, having the other characters reinforce that with their behavior just makes it more fun for everybody at the table. So I'm really glad that you caught that. And remember when is actually a standard improv exercise. So definitely use that and abuse it regularly.
I like the fact that we all had sort of separate roles and sort of sub-missions within the mission, that none of us could have succeeded in the end without everybody having done those particular pieces that they could do, whether it was preparing the girl, or finding the silver, or getting the champagne, Connie being there and taking one of them out. And it all kind of fit together very nicely, that we all had and the Wolfsbane from Michelle, it all tied together very well. Our different specialities were really used.
Although my favorite part was like the snake eyes thing. Like I know, but it was so funny. I'm like,
I wish I took a picture for you guys. It was hysterical.
It was,
I was building. I love building up whenever I do that kind of thing. Like I love Michelle and I just like building up our actions. We're doing so good. We got this in. That was bad.
That happens a lot, actually. That definitely
but it
happens
was
a lot.
really, I actually kind of enjoyed the like playing the badness of it,
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
paper's
it's like,
ripped out of here. And then he added to it by saying, oh, that? Thought it was a coaster.
Exactly.
That was like,
Yeah.
I'm mind drinking with you anymore.
Partially,
Yeah.
That was cool. I mean, so Snake Eyes is still an excellent opportunity
mhm.
in the whole
Mhm.
thing. So, and I
Absolutely.
love
There's yeah, absolutely.
For me, I personally, whenever I DM myself for my private games and that kind of thing, I love
Uh-huh.
I don't believe that a failure is necessarily a failure. I
Yeah.
never I always try to justify it or use it as a pivot point. Like for example, what stuck with me, someone put it perfectly. If you're a barbarian and you're making this vicious attack, you're reckless attacking, you're aggressive, you're using your strength and all in your fury into your attack, and you critically fail, that's not, you didn't miss because you're just inept or untrained with the weapon. You missed because you're so consumed by your rage that you couldn't manage to hit right. You know,
Yeah.
failure is not, it's never a failure to do an action. I always think you can use it to pivot and make a funnier moment.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, like funny, or potentially dive into different aspects of the character that could potentially fill in some of the flaws, like
Yeah.
um
Also,
especially
when
for Magda, when she was just like, I need to keep my shit, I need to keep my shit, and then the claws come out and dig into her fingernails. So yeah,
Yeah,
um
that was a good scene.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's an excellent moment there.
But yeah, I try to come up with sort of reasons for that when NPCs as well fail their roles, or guards or so, to come up with some plausible and humorous reason for it. Works well.
Are we still live, by the way?
Yes, we are.
Lovely.
Yeah, so and you're absolutely right, specifically about the point of if somebody has a critical fail for something that they're just, normally very good at, like it's definitely like it's more of an overcommit as opposed to a, oh, I did the dumb, because like it's, and part of and for one of the things for me specifically as I'm GMing is, if it's something that somebody is really really good at and like it should just be second nature for them, like I only would really make them roll for it specifically in a situation where there were heavy stakes involved. So example, for the trick shot quality that Constance had, like in most cases, yeah, that's not going to necessarily require a roll. But if there are stakes involved, especially, like taking down an assailant, or, potentially, taking down the big bad, like at that point, it translates to, a higher advantage because that's something she's very good at. Don't punish people for failing something that their character is supposed to be like the best at. That's rude, first of all, and it just creates better story if you take it to a point of like overcommitting as opposed to just that one time that you're supposed to be really good at the thing and then you're not, and this is like that's just not a good experience in my book.
It's a real party pooper move.
Exactly. Any other moments that folks want to call out? Everybody had fantastic role play. Like big shout out to Gunda for being like I am a famous journalist and you will treat me special. Like that attitude, just like beautiful, like chef's kiss. Mwah. Everybody
Thanks.
brought their A game here tonight as
Yeah.
far
I
as
love
their character's personality, and I loved
The
it.
the end scene was awesome, seeing everybody's like highlighted strengths, just tying up the mission with a bow, that was really awesome.
Yeah, that's
That's
really
probably my
important with a
favorite
one
part.
shot. Yeah, with a one shot, that's really kind of important. But then also, it's like, yeah, you succeeded, but at the same time, there's going to be, there will be a cost to it, because that creates more story, and that could potentially lead to, a longer multi game arc, if that's specifically what you want. Like, so that either being cured of being of lycanthropy or learning with it, and we have a werewolf showgirl. So why not?
And we know now what the Nazis are doing, and there's scope for maybe investigating that.
Exactly.
I have a campaign that's running sort of as a series of ad hoc one shots, and I'm doing that. It's the same setting, but then for each session we play, it's a self-contained episode, with that in mind, and then with some hooks for future reference as well.
Absolutely. Mora itself is specifically framed in the language of cinema and movies and film production. So a lot of like the story structure will be very similar. And we also, follow television, especially for, multi-game series like your standard campaign, chronicle, what have you. So yeah, that's the kind of structure that we kind of advocate for, that for like individual episodes, which is why we call it an episode. You have like the plot point that is specifically wrapped up in a neat little bow, but then there's other storylines that could go over for multiple arcs. TV writing is actually a very good model for creating a campaign.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you all so much
Yeah.
for coming to play with me, and I look forward to seeing all of you just do awesome with your certifications and use this to make so many people's lives better.
Mhm.
Goodbye,
Thank
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.